Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am Derek Thomas, one half of your Black College Experience team here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we have with us in Atlanta the founder of Black College Experience, the one and only Keisha Kelly. Kels.
Hi.
Had a busy night last night, right?
Had a very busy night last night. Very busy night.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, as everyone knows, we had the Black College Football Hall of Fame induction last night. Had some awards given out, and guess who was in the house? Black College Experience was in the house. Keisha Kelly, has worked hard to solidify herself as a entity in Black college sports. And Kels, if there's any crowning achievement of being in media in HBCU sports, is being at the biggest event for HBCU sports. How you feel about that?
Absolutely. It was one of the. I was still talking about this at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
This was probably one of the best experiences that I have experienced in all Black college sports. I tell people, I told someone, I said, most people wait for the moment to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I was like, my dream has come true to be in the mix of the Black College Football Hall of Fame. And the funny thing is that not only do you have the Black College Football Hall of Fame, but you have people like Mel Blount that's there that's also in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So it was just a great experience from beginning to end, just seeing different people, just taking it all in, listening to all the stories. They had a Dutchtown Middle School band that's from here, Hampton, Georgia. It was just a great experience. From beginning to end, just mixing and mingling, talking to all the inductees before last night, meeting the people that were being inducted last night, actually sitting there shaking hands, taking pictures with Joe Namath, taking pictures with Mel Blount, things like that. I caught up with Tariq Cohen.
Yes.
It was a great experience, and just to see that type of thing, not only to see so many elite people in one place, but to see how HBCU sports has such an impact on so many people, and to see that many people in one place for one purpose. And we all agree that HBCU athletics is definitely needed. It was just a great thing.
Yes. I wish I could have been there with you, but the best thing about this is you were in the house. You got a chance to express. I've been calling you a hobnobber for months now. You were definitely hobnobbing last night.
Definitely hobnobbing. It's so funny because I ran into Coach Freeman from Morehouse, and he said, I just came by to rub elbows and hobnob with a couple of people, and I started laughing because we were kind of standing in the cut laughing. And I said, yeah. And I said, Coach, I'm just going to find somewhere to sit. He said, nowhere to sit. He said, but I guess you're going to find. I said, yeah, Coach, you must don't know who I am. I said, I'm going to go find somewhere to sit. And I did. I ran into Devon Gales and kind of laughed it up with him. But I ran into a older Jag that was like 1967, 1970,
wow,
somewhere around that time, was playing then. It escapes my memory right now, but I know he played pro for Denver, so I have to go look it up. And just sitting there talking to them, and I was like, this is when you get the old people, the old spirits. And so, just sitting there talking to them, and I did see Doug Williams, and just seeing so many people and
so many legends.
Everybody super excited, because even for Rich Tombstone Jackson that was being inducted, like they brought like a bus of 40 people. Like they had a group of 40 people that they brought to see it. So it was an awesome experience. And I'm one of those people. I like old sports. I can deal with now, but I love to see a old
history.
1960. Yeah, I love it. I love the history in sports, especially HBCU sports,
because you get how things were. Like we know how things are now. With
Right.
HBCU sports, we're still viable, but a lot of media outlets may not look at us as being competitive. But back then, we could compete. Back then we could compete.
Right.
Back then we had perennial first round picks. And things of that nature. Players of lore who chose HBCUs over Power 5 conferences. They weren't called Power 5 back then, but over the bigger schools. And we're going to talk about one such HBCU player and current coach tonight as we go on through the show. But let's talk about the induction ceremony, Kills. Talk to us about how the night unfolded, the awards given, Give us your Black College experience at the Black College Football
The experience,
Hall.
it started off with it was kind of like a cocktail reception. Everybody's out kind of mixing and mingling and talking and looking at helmets and, because they had helmets to auction off. And you kind of mix and mingle. So this is when I finally met Hugh Douglas. I finally met your frat brother. And I'm like, hey, I'm Keisha. I'm Black College Experience. So I finally met him in person. It's so crazy because we're in the same city. Finally met him in person. And after the mixing and mingling, they go into the ceremony, and it's just like what you see on TV when they're actually walking out. They had the band there at the door, and everybody's walking into their tables, and then finally they introduce, for anybody, that was already there, the classes and everybody, like the trustees, everybody, the selection committee, all of those people are there. So those people actually walk out as well. After that, you have two MCs that are actually, that's actually doing the. So of course that was Charles Davis and then Steve Weiss. Now, for people that don't know, Steve Weiss is a graduate of Howard University, and he did make it known. So he did make it known, and it's funny because we were talking about that this morning on Twitter, and he actually liked the comment. I was like, we're gonna let you make it, but it's okay. They did. They were very good. And I can't say if it was Charles or Steve, but one of them made the same. This is what I was talking about earlier. They made the same comment that you said about Amir Hall playing in the NFL Players Association game. They made the same comment. And so, they were like, he's like, put them on alert. Just let these kids play. Just let them play. And, and I think a lot of times that's what, we get caught up in, they're from HBCUs, and we just don't want to give them the shine. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still football.
You don't want to be outshined.
Yep. Exactly. And it's still X's and O's. But anyhow, so, they go on through that, and then, they have, after they go through that, they give different awards. So Tariq actually received an award for Pro Football Player of the Year. He was there to do that, so it was good to see him there to accept that award. They did talk about Darius Leonard as well.
Yeah, he won. They won Black College Football Pro Player of the Years.
Right. So it was good to see, that type of them being recognized. And of course, it went back to talking about when Tariq was talking about his only offer was from, North Carolina A&T. And how he felt about that and so on and so forth. And then, of course, after that, they went into the Hall of Fame finalists, and then they went into the inductees, before that, they did go into the Deacon Jones Award. So, of course, Amir Hall did win, second year in a row. So he's a second consecutive year in a row winning the Deacon Jones Award.
Deacon Jones Award.
Just very, 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 like I said last night, very, very well deserved. He did deserve it. Ironically, I did. I got a picture of the four of them, and I did. I kind of pulled, Noah was out. I talked to Noah Johnson after, and I said, Noah, I don't appreciate what you did to my I don't appreciate what you did to my Southern University Jaguars. He said, what you mean? I said, you could have let us win the SWAC this year. You didn't have to act like that. And he just started laughing. I said, that's so selfish of you. And he said, oh, you went to Southern. And so we kind of laughed and we joked. And I talked to his mom and I think sisters or girlfriend or somebody after. And so, it is. It's at those type moments, it's like everybody is family because you're watching he and Amir and Daryl and Kaylin. It's like, all right, everybody's congratulating each other. And so it's like family. But the Sports Black Network, they also did awards. Of course, Sam Washington, which of course is North Carolina A&T's coach, he did get the SBN Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year award. The SBN and Doug Williams Offensive Player of the Year award also went to Amir Hall. The SBN and Mel Blount Defensive Player of the Year award went to Darryl Johnson from A&T. And then, of course, the SBN Jake Gates and National Black College Football Champions, of course, went to A&T as a whole. So A&T pretty much ranks everything except for the one thing that Amir Hall got.
Awesome, man. I was looking at the pictures that you were sending me, and I was like, look at my co-host. I mean, if I could have body swapped with you right then, I think I would have body swapped with you. And they'd be like, where the little short, cute girl go? How we get this big black out here? Well, I wanted to take her place for a while so I can just bask in the ambiance of the Black College Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I mean, and you know, Kels, I mean, hopefully I can attend one year, you know, and we can do it as a team like we always tag team events. But I know it was just an awesome experience for you. You also got a chance to, you know, I guess you could say, complete a picture task. So why don't you tell our listeners about the picture task with a certain Hall of Fame quarterback?
Oh, with Joe Namath?
Yes.
So we're out there, and this is so ironic. You know how you see pictures and you see people and you don't remember where you know the people from. And it, again, you know, so many coaches. So Jackson State's last coach, not this past coach, but the coach before that, the ones they call Mudbone. I kept seeing
Lord.
him.
Harold Jackson?
Coach Jackson. I kept on saying, God, why does he look so familiar? And then finally it hit me. I was like, Jackson State. Now, I talked to him for a while yesterday, and he told me that he's in L.A., really nice coach. We were talking, had a great time. And so he was taking his daughter's picture with Joe. So I was like, well, shoot, let's trade places. And he actually took like 4 or 5 pictures. Well, the funny thing is I say 3.5, 4 years ago when I went on a cruise to the Bahamas, they had Joe Namath's jersey in a case, I think, to be auctioned off. And I just took a picture by their jersey. Who would know 3.5, 4 years later, I will be taking a picture by Joe Namath himself. So that within itself was just crazy to me because I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should take a picture by LeBron's jersey, and then maybe the next year or so I'll be standing next to LeBron or somebody. But it was just simply amazing. Joe Namath also was a really, really down-to-earth guy. Hearing him talk about Boozman, very nice person. Very nice, down-to-earth guy. Had nothing but great things to say. And I think, in all respect, every person that was inducted had nothing but great things to say. I mean, they all spoke so well. I think one of the highlights of my night is finally getting to see Ace Mumford go into the hall. And, of course, his grandson accepted on his behalf. My Jaguars would not let me live. I had to go live in a certain group because they weren't going to let me make it. So just a great moment. It was a great moment. Even listening to Rich Toombs, so just listening to everybody speak about it. And I think Hugh at one point, they couldn't find Hugh Douglas' video because they're rolling these video clips. And so they were like, we're going to come back. And they finally found the clip and they played it back for him. But I think in hindsight to see him honored was just as overwhelming and very exciting for me as it was for him.
Yes, indeed. We're going to go ahead and run down the inductees. First, the aforementioned Emerson Boozer, a running back, University of Maryland Eastern Shore from 1962 to 1965, a 2-time first-team All-American MEAC Hall of Fame, selected by the New York Jets in the 6th round of the 1966 AFL Draft, also selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 7th round of the 1966 Draft. New York Jets, 1966 to 75, 10 seasons. 2-time AFL All-Star, AFL 1967, led the league in rushing touchdowns, won an AFL championship in 1968, and Super Bowl III. Member of the New York Jets, Ring of Honor, and College Football Hall of Fame, born July 4th, 1943 in Augusta, Georgia, Hugh Douglas. Defensive end, Central State, 1992 to 1994, a 2-time NAIA Division I All-American. Made 42 sacks in 32 games in a 3-year collegiate career. Led his team to an NAIA National Championship in 1992, Selected by the New York Jets with the 16th overall pick in the 1995 NFL Draft. NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He also played for the Eagles, the Jaguars. He was a 3-time Pro Bowl selection, 2-time first-team All-Pro. Rich Tombstone Jackson, defensive end out of your alma mater, Southern University, was a standout on both sides of the ball and on the track team, where he won a NAIA shot put competition. He still holds the Louisiana collegiate record for shot put, 58-1. Undrafted free agent, Oakland Raiders, 1966. Denver Broncos, 1967 to 1972. Frank Lewis, wide receiver, Grambling State University. Helped Grambling to the 1968 SWAC title game. In 1969, led Grambling in rushing and receiving yards. Scored a total of 42 touchdowns in college. Timmy Newsom, running back, Winston-Salem State University, led the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association in rushing and scoring 3 seasons. 3-time CIAA Offensive Player of the Year. 2-time Division II All-American under head coach Bill Hayes. Led the Rams to 2 undefeated seasons, 1978 and 1979. Selected by the Dallas Cowboys in the 6th round of the 1980 draft. He is a member of the CIAA Hall of Fame and Winston-Salem State University Athletic Hall of Fame. John Taylor, who would have thought, Kells, for the most part of my life, even though I was a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan, I also rooted for the San Francisco 49ers due to the one and only Jerry Rice. I had no idea as a child that his wide receiver co-receiver was also an HBCU graduate. John Taylor out of Delaware State, 1983 to 85, scored 42 touchdowns at Delaware State, including 15 his senior season. Both MEAC records. Holds MEAC record for most career points. MEAC Offensive Player of the Year, 1985. Selected by the San Francisco 49ers in the 3rd round of the 1986 draft. A 2-time Pro Bowl selection, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 1980s All-Decade Team, Delaware Sports Hall of Fame. I had no idea that he was a graduate of HBCU. So you had 2 HBCU graduates dominating the NFL in receiving. The greatest, coming from alma mater, Jerry Rice, and John Taylor, both in the Black College Football Hall of Fame, 3-time Super Bowl champion. And now, last but not least, Arnett Ace Mumford. He coached at Jarvis Christian College, Bishop College, Texas College, and your beloved Southern University. Led Southern Jaguars football team to 5 Black College National Championships. All-time winningest coach at Southern. Won or shared 11 swag championships at Southern. Inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2001. Also coached Southern to the 1941 Black National Championship in basketball. Wow, that's amazing. Retired with a record of 195, 104, and 2. And he was born in 1898 and died in 1962. That is your 2019 Black College Football Hall of Fame class. What a class, Kel, mixed with older legends from Coach Mumford to childhood legends like for me, John Taylor, and then more recent legends with Hugh Douglas. So it's an awesome class. I love to see. A mixture of football greats from our legacy of HBCU history. So, can't wait to see who.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can't wait
I'm
to see.
let's take a.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can't wait to see who we have for the next class, and we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and we're just talking about Keisha's experience at the Black College Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony and how I wished I could have swapped places with her. Where's Steve Urkel's transformation of his little Urk pad where he could have transferred me there? I've been binge watching Family Matters for the past month, so I would love to have been there with you and and just basking in ambiance, and it's just an amazing experience of football, HBCU legacy, football history. one thing before we move forward is, like you already said, that they were trying to start a campaign for Amir Hall to get an invite to the NFL Combine, and I saw you retweeted, I retweeted, several other individuals retweeted. So hopefully the NFL will take notice and get him a Combine invite so he can showcase his stuff. You know, he deserves a platform to where he can showcase his abilities. Yes, he came from a Division II HBCU. So what? He can throw the football. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And hopefully he'll get that opportunity, and hopefully someone will, pay attention to it. We can get enough people tweeting, retweeting it. Hopefully that it'll get some type of attention, and that they will give him the opportunity to, because in the end, that's all these kids want, is an opportunity to show you what they can do. And as we can see with Darius Leonard, Tariq Cohen, we see that these are two examples of what can be Chester Rogers. We see what just an opportunity can do.
He's been in the league a long time.
That's all it is just an opportunity. So that's exactly what it is. But shifting over, let's look at the NAIA HBCUs that are ranked in the poll.
All right.
Now, I said this earlier, and people that do not know, they call this the Bayou Classic of basketball. Dillard University and Xavier University in New Orleans. Last night, it went down. They said it was so lit. But looking at these rankings in men's, in the NAIA polls, Stillman is number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Tougaloo is number 8. Wiley is number 12. Dillard is number 25. And then Talladega with 17 votes, Langston with 13 votes.
Right.
Talk about this ranking, or how you think this ranks, because a lot of times we have to get people into watching this GCAC, and they got a lot going on over there. For people that don't pay attention, they are wrecking shop over there in the GCAC.
Right. Well, first, like you said, Stillman not in the GCAC, but they're sitting at number 5, up from number 9. So they moved up 4 spots at 23-2. Tougaloo College sitting at 20-4. They were ranked 6th. They dropped 2 spots to 8 because they were tearing through the GCAC. As you know, it's real tough to go undefeated in your conference. And they lost to Dillard, and I'm trying to remember that first team they dropped. They gave them an L. But Coach Billups, former Black College experience guest and the man I've known since I was a little kid, has Tougaloo rolling through the GCAC. And Wiley College at 18-5, up 3 spots to 12 from 15. I mean, even though they're in the Red River, it's just good to see a lot of HBCUs on this poll. And of course, with Dillard at 25, and then Talladega dropping out, and Langston dropping out with 17, 13 votes respectively. So it's good to see HBCU basketball programs recognized, for their play on the hardwood, because when I looked at I knew Tougaloo was ranked. But when I started going through the list and I saw Stillman, I saw Talladega and Langston in the list, I said, I need to go check on these basketball records, because we really hadn't had a chance to talk about all the other schools' basketball records, and we're going to try to touch on those as we go through the night, because we know we're steamrolling toward a turning time, conference tournaments and basketball championship tournaments. So we want to make sure we highlight all the HBCUs that are doing their thing on the basketball court, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and talk about some of these rankings. And jumping over to the women in Division I, NAIA, Talladega sitting at 13, and Xavier dropped out, but they did get 23 votes. I hope they get back in. So, it's good to see our HBCU institutions that are not Division I competing at a high level. I think it's imperative that we that's our mission, to provide coverage for all of our HBCUs as many as we can. So when I saw this, Kels, and y'all have to forgive me, that we so late on this, and this is something I'm going to have to correct, for the next year with basketball, because I had no idea Stillman was as good as they were in basketball, because I just mostly been sticking to the main conferences and checking on, Hampton and Tennessee State, which both of those programs have been struggling this year in college basketball. But shining through for HBCUs and NAIH, Stillman. And, hopefully they can continue blazing through their schedule and win their conference championship, and also get ready for the tournament. In Division 2, a team you know very well, Morehouse, is ranked number 13. And this is men, of course, and Virginia State ranked 23. On the women's side, Virginia Union is ranked number 8. But you've had a first-hand impact view of that Morehouse basketball program, what they did last year, what they're doing this year. It's just amazing the consistency that Morehouse has been able to show, even with the coaching change, Kels.
Or they already clinched. Beating Clark, they actually clinched the title for the division. And
I saw some Twitter back and forth with that too.
Yeah, they do. They're very funny. So tomorrow, they have a chance to win the regular season championship title if they have a win over Benedict. So that tip-off is tomorrow at 7 p.m. That is at Forbes Arena, and I'm telling everybody, if you don't know, if you haven't been in Forbes Arena this
Get in there.
This is your time, because they make it very uncomfortable. They're very rowdy. It's just a great environment to play in. It's a bad environment for the of course, the opponent. But Morehouse has a lot of spirit, and they support those guys very much. So, again, this is their opportunity to clinch. For people that don't know, the last weekend in February, the 25th through the 2nd, is when the SEAC tournament, SEAC basketball tournament takes place. So, it is. It's coming down. We're winding up basketball.
Get ready to start them spring sports, Kels.
We are. Not football, baseball, track and field. It is. It's all coming. Softball, which has been really good to watch. It's all coming.
Yes, indeed. So now we're ready to jump over into the SWAC, talk about some SWAC news. And first up, this is a position that I want to talk about.
You know what? Let's not go SWAC. Let's go CIAA.
All right.
Let's go CIAA first, because last week, I know we kind of went on SWAC, and we went on SWAC for a while last week.
All right.
I just don't want to miss anything that's going on with any of those. I'll start off with this. Congratulations to Coach Tyrone Wheatley, that was officially named Morgan State's head football coach. So they did announce him a couple of days ago as the head coach. As we all know, there's always a bunch of coaching changes when it's going into the off season, football, basketball, whatever the sport is. But again, congratulations to Coach Wheatley, Tyrone Wheatley, that was officially named head coach for the Morgan State Bears.
Yes, and if you don't know who Tyrone Wheatley is, he was a running back for the Michigan Wolverines. And he played pro for a few years. Right now, the name of his pro teams is escaping me. But I remember him playing in college football. He was an awesome running back. He does have a son that plays tight end in Michigan that's in the transfer protocol. So maybe he might come over and play for his dad and help his dad turn around that Morgan State football program. So
I remember you talking about that. I remember you talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
So,
and then on the other side, congratulations to Cal O'Quinn, who retired. They retired his jersey at Norfolk State University last night. That's number 10, and he does play for the Indiana Pacers. So, again, congratulations to Cal O'Quinn, who had his jersey retired.
I think he's our only HBCU player in the NBA right
now,
now, right?
The only HBCU, the only player. Yep,
Standing
the
alone.
only one.
Hopefully we can get some more in there.
I know.
All right.
That's all I had.
Since we're in the CIAA, run down the basketball standings. We already talked about Virginia State men. They're sitting at 7-1 in the division, 22-4 overall in the Northern Division. Bowie State behind them in the division 6-2. Virginia Union 5-3. Elizabeth City State, Lincoln, and Chowan. Gotta make sure I say that right. All at 2-6. In the Southern Division, you have Shaw leading the way at 7-3. Livingstone at 6-3, Claflin at 7-4, Winston-Salem State, Johnson Smith, and Fayetteville State all at 4-6, and St. Aug's at 3-7. On the women's side, Virginia Union leading the way in the division at 7-1, Bowie State at 5-3, as well as Lincoln, Pennsylvania, Virginia State at 3-5, Chowan and Elizabeth City State at 2-6. In the Southern Division, Fayetteville State sitting at 9-1. Winston-Salem State at 8-2. Johnson C. Smith at 7-3. Livingstone at 4-5. Claflin at 4-7. St. Augs at 2-8, and Shaw at 1-9. And while we're in the CIAA, we do have some indoor track and field news for you. Let's get that pulled up. The St. Augustine's men and the Virginia State women crowned CIAA indoor champs. So we want to congratulate those teams. On the men's side, St. Augs, of course, finished first with 194 points. Virginia State with 111. Virginia Union with 61. Claflin with 59. Bowie State at 42. Johnson Smith at 38. Lincoln, Pennsylvania with 30. Livingstone with 26. On the women's side, Virginia State, of course, finishing first with 129 points. St. Augs at 110. Fayetteville State with 94. Winston State at 71. Livingstone with 38. Bowie State with 34. Johnson C. Smith with 33. Claflin with 14. Virginia Union with 12. And Lincoln, Pennsylvania with 9. So I want to congratulate those indoor indoor track and field teams. Just to name some of the athletes that had outstanding performances. St. Augs was led by Jamon Executor. Dominic Samuel out of Claflin was the track and field men's MVP. And Jamon Exeter was the CIAA men's field MVP. Virginia State swept the women's postseason honors, but Kyla Frank was the CIAA women's track and field MVP. Kenya Warner was the CIAA women's field MVP. The women's winners on Monday were Warner of Virginia State, Shannon Calawan of St. Augs, Alicia St. Louis of Johnson C. Smith, Jaya Gilliam of Virginia State, Makia Gayden of Winston-Salem State, Kelly Candy of Fayetteville State. The men's winners were Javante Marshall of Virginia State, Exeter, the triple jump, Brandon Slade of Virginia State, Alan Blair of Virginia State, Derek St. John of Claflin, Davion McKnight of Claflin, Shaquille Deal out of St. Augs, Jeremiah Bridges out of St. Augs, Devon Carroll out of Bowie State, Byron Freeman out of St. Augs, and St. Augs relay team, 4x400 relay team. So congratulations to all of the winners for the CIAA indoor track and field season. Now you got to get ready for outdoor. It's not finna be. It's gonna be warm outside now, so you ain't gotta be indoor. Now you're gonna have to do it in the elements. So with spring when it warms up, we're gonna get ready for outdoor track and field season, and hope we might see some of these names winning again, Kels.
How do you feel about track and field as opposed to because I know you love women's basketball.
Oh, I like track and field too. I'm just always too slow to run it.
So I was talking about this with somebody else. I was talking to a young lady last night that she plays softball for Alabama A&M, and she transferred to Clark Atlanta because she was trying to get everything in the journalism program. How do you feel about softball, women's softball? Because it doesn't get a lot of notoriety, but fast pitch. Looking at it, it's just amazing. How do you feel about softball?
Well, for a lot of people that may not know, I played football in high school and junior high, but I played baseball from the time I was 10 to the time I was 17. I was actually a better baseball player than I was football player for a man of my size. You would think I would be a better football player, but no, I was a better baseball player than I was football. I wasn't an all-star athlete, but I was a better baseball player as far as, the little ability that God gave me. It was evident that my future was not as an athlete, but I love baseball. I mean, I can sit and watch baseball now, and I can watch softball. I watch some softball when it's on TV, and of course everyone knows I have a daughter and she's interested in playing softball. So with me being a former baseball player and having some skill at playing the game of baseball, I can bring that down to my daughter. I can teach her how to fit a ground ball. I can teach her how to hit. I can teach her those things. So, with my daughter wanting to play softball, I'm definitely going to be involved in the game if she makes the team. But for our HBCU institutions, I would like to see our softball teams get more recognition. These young ladies grind hard, and like you say, fast pitch ain't no joke. I've seen slow pitch, but the first time I saw a fast pitch softball game, I was like, oh my God, that ball was coming fast. Because if you've never seen it, you just think it's slow pitch. Oh no, those young ladies have guns, and that ball comes fast, and it's bigger than a baseball. So it's gonna hurt all the same if it hits you. I've been hit by a lot of baseballs in my life, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure getting hit by a softball, it hurts just as bad as being hit by a baseball. So, I love sports, and you know me, because I'm an advocate for women's sports. I'm a women's basketball groupie that I like to call myself, but I also advocate for other women's sports. And with me having a daughter who is, I guess I can say she's more athletic than I ever was growing up. I'm definitely going to be an advocate for women's sports because she wants to participate, and even if I didn't have a daughter, I would still, be a participant, or as far as promoting women's sports, because even though it may not be as flashy as the men's game, in some cases the women's games in all sports are more fundamentally sound. That's my opinion.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I think fast pitch is one of those games, one of those that you really have to pay attention to. And even watching, just the tournaments, it's so exciting to watch. It's so fun. And a lot of times, so I was talking to the young lady last night, a lot of times people don't talk about it. But women's basketball is one of the most, it's a very great thing to watch. And I've watched, not only women's college basketball, but even watching the WNBA, it's a whole totally different energy. And a lot of people are like, no, it's a totally different energy. And, it's so funny because you have people like Shaquille Hill. Hill is making one of the biggest statements in HBCU sports. And not only is she doing that, but she has set records, not only for being in the SWAC or being an HBCU player, but she has set some standards that even other players have not set. And I hear getting the quadruple doubles, and it's nobody else has done that. So for her to do that, and for her to, I don't know if you've seen her talking about, I can't remember her numbers, how far she was away from being like the all-time SWAC with this, and then being something with setting Grambling's record. She was talking about that earlier. And I was telling people, I was like, those are the important things that people need to pay attention to, because all we see is, oh, they went to an HBCU. Oh, they went to an HBCU. That's all we see. In the meantime, she's steady setting records. She's steady. I mean, it's just phenomenal to see what she's doing and to hear the different things. Oh, she said she's 21 assists shy of the Grambling all-time record.
Oh, she's going to get that.
So, and then she's 12 steals away from the all-time record for the SWAC. So, those are the things that people don't talk about. That's why we continue to talk about it, continue to trend it, retweet it, post it, because those are the things that people don't talk about. Those are the things. If LeBron can give her a shout out, everybody else in the world better follow suit and know that she coming.
Exactly. And speaking of this, since LeBron James is giving her a shout out, and since you started bringing up Ms. Hill, I have to say this about her. She was named to the Don Staley Award midseason watch list. And just to talk about this award, in its sixth season, the award recognized the nation's best guard in women's Division I college basketball, exemplified by the skills that Staley possessed: ball handling, scoring ability to distribute, and the will to win. Staley is currently the head coach at the University of South Carolina, where she did win a national championship, and she played basketball at the University of Virginia from 1989 to 92. Now, those characteristics that I read you, when you read them, there's one player that comes to mind. Any player that can get not one but two quad doubles in her career, she's the epitome of that award. I don't care if Grambling doesn't make it into the NCAA tournament. It says the best guard who exemplifies all those qualities, and Hill exemplifies all those qualities as she leads her team on the court. And I'm so glad that she was added to this list. The only HBCU player, Kels, on this list, and I want to read some of the names that she's being compared to. And it's great to have an HBCU player compared with these ladies here, because these ladies are going to be most of them first round draft picks. So we have our HBCU player with these other ladies: Haley Samuelson out of Connecticut, Sophie Cunningham out of Missouri, Ariki Ogunbole out of Notre Dame, who broke my Bulldogs' hearts last year. Of course, Shaquille Hill, Ari McDonald, Taysha Davis, Sierra O'Donnell, Kanisha Bell, Aisha Durr, Tiana Mangakala, Kennedy Carter, Tia Cooper, Sabrina Ion-Chu, and Crystal Dangerfield. All of these young ladies are on the mid-season watch list, and we have a representative. Should we have more? Hopefully, maybe next year we will have more than one. But, Shaquille Hill blazing that trail for us HBCU lovers, Kels.
She is, and she's made really great stands. I'm very proud of her. She continues to set standards, and I believe she sets goals. And for people that don't know, she did an interview with HBCU Game Day about a month ago, and to hear her speak about speak in her interview about what Grambling has done for her, and she got emotional, and she was like, "I'm emotional," and she started crying. And I think a lot of times people don't understand how overwhelmed and how emotional, how we don't look at, when we're in HBCUs, we look at it as a family. It's a family-oriented environment. Like I said, I don't care which HBCU you chose, they're all one and the same. And we can joke with each other, but you will not come for an HBCU. Not on my watch, you just can't. Not on my watch, you just can't. I don't care which one it is, you just can't do it. So to hear her speak about her experience and what Grambling has done for her, it's truly admiring, because she was so emotional about it. But she's one of those people. I definitely think she'll get a shot at the WNBA. I definitely think she will, or she'll be playing overseas.
Right, where they do make more money than they make in the WNBA. That sounds funny, right?
Right. So she's going somewhere. We don't know which one, but I definitely know she will be playing somewhere after college.
Yes, indeed. So since we're on here, we want to talk about SWAC basketball for the women. So let me pull this up here. And then we'll go on to the men and some other SWAC news, and then on to the MEAC. All right, out this weekend's games, Prairie View defeated Jackson State 89-80. Alabama A&M defeated Alabama State 65-57. Grambling State defeated Texas Southern 72-55. Alcorn State edged out my Devilettes 81-80 in overtime, and your Lady Jazz Kills holding on to the number one spot in the SWAC, defeated UAPB 56-45. Let's see, Deasia Brown notched her career 27 points for Valley in the defeat to Alcorn. Prairie View was led by Shayla Dobbins with 22 points. As the Panthers scored Jackson State 34-22 in the fourth quarter to pull away. Three Grambling State University players posted double figures as they rolled past Texas Southern. Deshauna Harper continues to shine on the big stage as she led Alabama A&M to victory. She poured in 26 points. Your Jaguars, down 11 to half, stormed back in a dominant third quarter to defeat Pine Bluff. The Jaguars are now 12-11, 9-3 in the SWAC. Southern was led by Tanera Moore with 13 points. Noah Taylor scored 11 points for the lead the Lady Lions. Jumping over to the men. All right. Texas Southern defeated Grambling 86-85. It's getting hot in heaven that SWAC Hills. Alabama State defeated Alabama A&M 68-62. Prairie View defeated Jackson State 79-66, and your Jaguars fell to UAPB 61-45. And finally, I can say this: my Delta Devils finally beat Alcorn in something, Kills. I'm so happy. Our men defeated Alcorn men basketball 76-68. so I can be happy that we finally got a W over Alcorn. Even though it's not football, where I would love to get an upset victory over Alcorn with them being so dominant as they've been, I will take this victory over Alcorn any way I can get it. To run down the impact players, running SWAC player of the week, Jeremy Combs, put up 26 points and 11 rebounds for Texas Southern. For Jackson State, Darius Wilson scored 20 points as Prairie View defeated Jackson State to claim the victory. On UAPB, Mark Tavius McKnight scored 22 points, followed by Sean Doss with 16 points to lead Arkansas Pine Bluff. Dante Scott and Jordan Evans each scored 20 points for my Delta Devils as we defeated those Braves. So, I'm happy. I'm excited. Can't wait to see how this basketball season winds up. Now, some other news in indoor track and field, kills. Do I even have to tell anybody who won the indoor track and field? I mean, it's been this way every year for the past couple of years, maybe skipped a few years. Who do you think won the men's indoor track and field championship in the SWAC?
I'm going to say Alabama State.
And who do you think won the women's indoor track and field SWAC championship in the SWAC?
Alabama State.
A Hornet sweep. Congratulations to Alabama State sweeping the indoor track and field championships for the SWAC. Let's see here. Alabama State claimed the 4x400 meter relay title with a time of 3:14.41, followed by Pine Bluff for 3:14.82 and Jack State. Jamie Brown from Alabama State was named the 2019 SWAC Most Outstanding Field Performer. He led the field with 22 points. Henry Kipolak from Jack State scored 25 points on his way to being crowned 2019 SWAC Most Outstanding Track Performer. Prairie View's Sonny Rodriguez Wings was crowned champion in the pole vault with a 5.04 meters, setting a new meet record. And for the women, all right, Alabama State claimed the 4x4 meter relay with a time of 3:45.33, followed by Texas Southern and Southern. Sophia John from Arkansas Pine Bluff was named the 2019 SWAC Most Outstanding Field Performer as she led the field with 18 points. Naomi Kiprop from Grambling State scored 23 points on her way to being crowned 2019 SWAC Most Outstanding Track Performer. Texas Southern's Quintella Johnson tied a meet record in the high jump. Prairie View's Brianna Robinson set a new mark in the pole vault, 3.51 meters, and the high jump was 1.7 meters for Quintella Johnson. So congratulations to these outstanding athletes. They have performed well. They earned their championships, individual and also team. It's just great to see these athletes doing great in track and field, sports that may not get as much exposure, but we're going to give them exposure because these athletes deserve to have their day in the sun.
So while we're there, I do, for everybody that knows, Hampton did switch over to the Big South this year. So congratulations to them. First year, and they end up finishing, men and women, both winning indoor track championships. That is amazing. So congratulations, I say, Paula, to your crew. They did that. Hampton finished number one, men and women. They both won championships for indoor track.
Thank you, Kel. Had my back. I had the women on here, but I ain't had the men. Thank you for keeping me from making that goof.
When you pick them side by side, I can kind of see the stuff. So I'm like, I hope you make it easier for us when we got to report it.
Yes, indeed. So, and that's great for the Hampton men and women to become this Big South champions in their first year competing. Since we are on Hampton, we also want to highlight the Hampton women. They were perennial MEAC threats to win a MEAC title, but they took that over to the Big South, as Hampton is now sitting number 3 in the Big South behind Radford and High Point with a 9-3 record in the conference, a 13-10 record overall. The Lady Pirates are on a 1-game losing streak, but they're going to rectify that. They're going to win their next game. So it's good to see Hampton boding well as they transition into the Big South. Can't wait to see what they do on the football field this year. As they represent HBCUs in the Big South. And like you said, Kels just said they won Big South indoor track and field. So go and expect the same thing in outdoor track and field as Hampton, decides to say if they're going to be the takeover in the Big South. Some other indoor track and field news. Tennessee State's Brumfield was named OVC Track Athlete of the Week. And the OVC Championships is coming up next week in Birmingham. So want to wish Tennessee State well, as they will be, trying to, win the OVC Indoor Championship. Some other basketball news from our independent HBCUs, Langston, which we normally talk about Langston on the football field. They're sitting at 12-8 in the Sooner Athletic Conference. With a 20-8 record overall. They're on a 1-game losing streak. Elsewhere, we already talked about Silman. They're leading the Southern States Athletic Conference. And then, of course, we already talked about them being number 5. In the Red River, Wiley and Houston Tillotson qualified for the Red River tournament in men's basketball, and women's basketball. Paul Quinn and Houston Tillotson qualified for the women's Red River basketball tournament. So, it's just great to see HBCUs, not necessarily the HBCUs that a lot of people like to talk about, but they're doing well out of conference, in conference. It's just great to see these HBCUs doing well in sports. In the GCAC in track and field, Suno's men's and women's team are ranked. The men are ranked 12 in the South, and the women kills are ranked number 2. So in the South. So HBCUs blazing trails everywhere. It's just, everywhere you look around, you have HBCU athletes doing well on all levels. Some other news before we get out of here. This is what I want to talk about out of the MEAC. Let me pull this story up. Give kudos to HBCU Game Day. Got this story from them. North Carolina Central's men's basketball coach Lavelle Moulton will have his high school jersey retired on Friday, alongside former NBA player and current Indiana Pacers head coach Nate McMillan and current Houston Rocket P.J. Tucker. All three played for Enloe High School basketball in Raleigh, North Carolina. Moulton played 3 years of varsity basketball before graduating in 1992. He was recruited by ACC schools like Wake Forest and NC State, but ultimately, Kels, he chose an HBCU. Calls it the craziest and best decision of his life. Didn't even visit the campus, and wish we could get some of those victories like that now. For athletes that are being recruited by the bigger schools to choose to stay and play for historically black colleges and universities. I kudos to Coach Moulton. He's done a fantastic job at NCCU as the basketball coach, getting his jersey retired. It's just great to see a career rewarded like that. And, he chose an HBCU over the ACC. And to me, that shows you that, you can still have a successful career even though you don't go play for a big school. He's now a head coach, building his own program, and it's just great to see him receive this award as far as getting his jersey retired. But before we get out of here, we got a few more minutes left. Grambling State had a position change on the offensive staff. Coach Fobbs' father retired. He was offensive coordinator and running backs coach for Grambling, and they have hired a new offensive coordinator for Grambling State University, and it is Mark Orlando, a veteran coach on the HBCU landscape. He has been hired by Coach Fobbs as the new offensive coordinator and running backs coach, taking over for Lee Fobbs, who recently retired. Just to talk to you about some of the places where Coach Orlando has coached. He spent 3 seasons as the offensive coordinator at Alabama State. He was a member of the coaching staff at Prairie View for 4 seasons, taking over the offensive coordinator in Montgomery, Alabama. The veteran assistant coach returned to the sidelines last season after missing the 2000 season. He served 2 stints with the former Alabama State head coach Brian Jenkins. He also worked at Bethune-Cookman, helping the Wildcats to a 2010 MEAC title. In Alabama State's first season, the owner's offense averaged 25.5 points a game, 6th in the SWAC. They were also 6th in total yards. So this is a veteran offensive mind. He played quarterback at Florida State. He began his coaching career at Lincoln High in Tallahassee. Then he moved into collegiate coaching at FAMU, winning the inaugural Division I AA National Championship in his first season. He also coached at Tennessee State, where he was the running backs coach. And he also coached at Winston-Salem State. So this is the guy, who played football for the Florida State Seminoles, but most of his coaching career, Kells, has been at the HBCU level. To me, that's someone who could potentially become a head coach in HBCU football.
Correct.
And we know he has experience. We know Grambling is going to be looking to, stake their claim. They would be dethroned by your Jaguars. Lost offensive coordinator, Prairie View. So Mark Orlando comes in. We're going to see what type of offense Grambling want to run. We know they're going to want to try and score some points, in the SWAC, because you got to score points with the high scoring league that we have. So bringing in a veteran coach like this, Kells, is good for Coach Fobbs, because this guy knows the game of football. He's coached at so many HBCUs. He knows the culture of HBCUs. That's something that a lot of people want to be critical of white coaches. They want to say that they don't know the culture of HBCUs, but that's not something that they can say about Mark Orlando. He knows the culture of HBCUs, and I think he's going to do great things at Grambling, Kells.
I agree. I totally agree, and I think we have to get out of that color,
Exactly.
rather of coaching. As long as you can get the job done, if you can look across the rosters, I know that we have white coaches. Of course, Alcorn has had white coaches. You look across the board. Jackson State has had white coaches. Alabama A&M, I know, has white coaches. I think all of us have white coaches somewhere in there. And so if you look across the board in there, even when you look, it's not always in football, but I know for a fact, and I have Coach Garrett's phone number from Southern. He's the head softball coach. He's white. The bowling coach, she's white. So, you look across the board, you have plenty of people. You don't have to be black to coach at a HBCU.
You don't.
You get the opportunity, and the only thing these people are trying to do is they're coming there for the love of the game, and they love what they do. They're trying to help these athletes. So I think we need to get out, and I think more people are opening their minds to it now, but we have to get out of that, they're not black, so they can't coach. We have to get out of that mindset.
I agree with you. And before we run out of time, one more SWAC offensive position note. Everyone knows that in January, Ryan Stanchek, the offensive coordinator for Alcorn, left to go back and coach with at USM with former Alcorn coach. He was the offensive coordinator at Alcorn. He's not going to coach offensive line at USM. So there's an opening on the Alcorn State Braves staff. Head coach McNair, he may decide to be the offensive coordinator. He has a wealth of knowledge on that staff where he could promote in-house. Wide receivers coach Jason Phillips. Another name that comes to my mind is a man that knows offense. I watched him play in college, watched him play in the NFL, and as a quarterbacks coach, Coach Pat White. I think he would be a great decision to promote to offensive coordinator. Coach McNair has shown before that he will promote from within to keep consistent within his program. So I have an idea that possibly he may do it again, and I would love to see Coach Pat White, bring out that. And that's the offense that they run. The offense that Alcorn runs with Noah Johnson and the running backs is the offense that Pat White and Steve Slade made famous at West Virginia, coaching under Rich Rodriguez. So, who better than to teach that offense than a player who mastered the offense and sensationalized us when he was in college than Pat White? I don't know if that's going to be the choice, Kells, but to me it's a no-brainer when you have a quarterback like Noah Johnson, and then you have another quarterback behind him that is just as mobile. Then you have the dual threat kid out of Meridian. They are the Pat White mode of quarterback. So, and Pat White's still young enough to where he can physically teach the position. He's a young coach. He can teach them and show them by doing. So this gives Alcorn, as far as, in my opinion, a head up in mobile dual threat quarterbacks by having a guy like Pat White on the staff. And I would love to see him become an offensive coordinator at Alcorn, so he can show his stuff, to show that offense off that has taken the SWAC by storm. But I guess we'll wait and see who McNair hires. And that's all I have for tonight, Kills. And we're out of time. Go ahead and close us out.
So before we go, a couple of things, just to let everybody know. On tomorrow, they will be doing the 100th birthday commemoration for the legendary Coach Eddie Robinson, who did just celebrate with his 100th birthday this past week on Wednesday. They did a big thing over at Grambling, so now they're going to bring it over to the College Football Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
Of course, I will be there. I will get a chance to partake in that as well. So I said they need to name something. I was like, I get to be at everything that's here, so I'm super excited. From my understanding, I'm not sure, but from my understanding, his great-grandson, which also is a positions coach at Grambling, Quentin Burrell, which is also one of my friends. I have to tell people, I knew Quentin before Grambling knew Quentin. So we go back way before he was coaching. He was playing arena football when I met him. Also, one of his other great-grandsons, Sean Moore, that graduated twice from Grambling, he works for the Hall of Fame. So I get a chance to, see some of the family members tomorrow, and I'm really excited about this program. I also laughing because I did run into Coach Trey Oliver last night, and we laughed and joked. I said, Coach, we really hated to see you leave Southern. He said, I really hated to go. But, of course, I said, we wish you well, and we kind of laughed. And then last but not least, I was saving this, but on March 3rd, we have a doctor, his name is Dr. Kelechi Okoroha, and Dr. Kelechi played basketball for Xavier. He played basketball for Xavier. He went to medical school at Howard, and he's now the team doctor for both the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox.
Wow.
So doctor has agreed to come on and do an interview on March
that's going to
3rd.
be great.
So, yeah, I was like, how do you get that type of clout? Like, how do you get that type of stuff? That's awesome. So, you didn't make it to the league, but you're going to work with the league. It's just amazing. So we'll have all of that coming. But thank you so much for rolling with Black College Experience this week. We'll catch y'all next week with all the recap of everything that's going on. Baseball, don't think I forgot that Southern beat Grambling twice. Don't think I didn't forgot about that.
Bayou Classic on the diamond.
I said Bayou Classic. I don't want y'all to think I forgot it. But we'll see y'all next week. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Good night.